Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On Cue in Mesa, California, the 2017 J. Swanson Memorial, Swanee. We are here to see a very exciting match between Rodney Morris versus Oscar Dominguez. Oscar is coming off a stinging loss to Francisco Bustamante and is now on the one-loss side. This is a race to 7, 9-ball. Oscar is defending his 2016 Swanee win. Make sure not to blink during Rodney Morris's shooting. You might miss him running a wreck. Here we go. Oscar makes a ball and break. It's perfect shape for that one ball. The big problem seems to be that 2 on the rail. And Oscar's trying to see if that 2 will go all the way down the rail. This leaves him some options on that 3 ball. He added an extension to his cue. And he's pointing on the rail exactly where he wants to leave that cue ball after making the 1. How'd he hit it? Exactly where he didn't want to be. You can tell that Oscar and his dad, Ernesto Dominguez, table mechanics, they tend to try and grab the ball off the rails underneath the table before the ball has a chance to settle down. Rodney says, "Thank you very much, I'll take that." Shoots the 2 ball up table, leaves a stop shot on that 3. All he has to do, go a little bit forward, raise that 5, and hit the 4 down. That is not where we want it to be, but from here I can see he can see the 5, but he's so close to the rail that trying to avoid the scratch just becomes a bit of a hassle. Rodney's not happy with that 6 ball. It's a bit of a stretch for him. He's a left-handed player and he opted to come underneath the 7 instead of trying to draw back up. Rodney's now leading 1-0 and has the break in rack 2. They're using the magic crack. For those of you who don't know, the magic crack is a very thin piece of film with holes for where the balls go, and they settle in very tight. It also eliminates any quirkiness the table may have, or if somebody drove certain balls into the table where the rack lies. You won't hearing anybody complaining about the break with a magic rack compared to using one of the house wooden racks. And he breaks, makes the wing ball into the side pocket, and is left with an easy shot on that 1 ball. He's deciding if he wants a 2 ball in the bottom left hand corner or come around to make it into the side. He decides to come around, but I think he just went a little bit too far. Shoots it as if that was straight in and 2 inches away from the pocket. 3 to the 4, hit with top spin, hit off the rail, come back up. A little bit too much, but not a problem for pro Rodney. Hits it, kills the cue ball, comes up the rail for that 5 ball. He has to make sure that he leaves himself the right angle on the 6 in order to be able to get back down to that 7. And rather than force the cue ball, he says, listen, I'll take it up to the top corner and then shoot the 7 down. And I told you, ladies and gentlemen, don't blink or you'll miss Rodney's rack running. Only the 9 ball to make that a 2-0 run. Oscar racking. Most of the players this weekend have opted to break from the left-hand side, make that wing ball into the pocket, and then Oscar also makes the 1 ball. It seems like all the balls, aside from the 4, bunched up on the bottom left-hand side of the table. And Oscar says, you can deal with this. I'll just play a safety. Oscar is going to try and make the 2. Nudge that 5 ball to get a shot on the 3-9. And 3-9 combo. The score is now 2-1 to Rodney Morris, and Rodney's breaking. Oscar missed the 1 ball into that side pocket, and Rodney missed the 1 ball into the side pocket and left himself a bit of an odd angle, but he's going to cut it in, run into the 4 to get an angle on that 2 ball. Why not make the 4 at the same time if you can? I'd like to again thank Mark Griffin and CSI for streaming these matches live and free. For Clyde Norris for putting on a very, very classy event here at On Cue in the Mesa. And of course, all the players, all the fans at home, everybody watching the stream, thank you and welcome. In the meantime, Rodney does what Rodney does. They don't call him the Rocket Man for nothing. He runs through these racks as if they're nothing. A little bit long, but make that 9-ball, and it's 3-2-1. Just like that. Oscar has been playing well all weekend and seems to have run into some sort of hitch right now at the second day of the Swanee tournament here at On Cue. Once again, shout out to everybody at home watching the stream. Rhonda, Simon, Gil, everybody else. If I haven't mentioned you by name, thank you again for supporting this event. Oscar's gonna bank that one, leave it safe. Just like that. He wanted to get behind the 5, but he'll take it, leaving Rodney to shoot over the 4 and to the other end of the table. Rodney can only see part of that 1 ball, sorry. Rodney says, not a problem. Healing me there? I'll cut it just enough, leave you in the same spot. From the way he approached it, Oscar has that window between the 5 and 6 to hit the 1 ball. He opted to play off the rail and tried to leave the cue ball behind the 9 for safe. Oh, that last roll just rolled into the 9 ball. There you go, Oscar, deal with that. At the same time, not only did Rodney hit the 1 ball, he also tucked that 2 ball onto the rail. This means that even if Oscar gets the 1 ball into that top pocket, he might not get a good shot on the 2. Oscar sees that at this point, if he's drawing back, he runs into the 6 ball. He's going to try and avoid doing that. Let's go forward, he says. And he ran into the 5 ball, which impeded the progress of the cue ball. Now he's left with a very thin cut on that 2 ball. The 2 is touching rail. You see where he put his hand there? That's where he wants to hit the rail by him. Come up and hit that spot, but he hit way too much of that 2. And he won't like the result. Rodney tried to hide the ball behind the 6 ball, but instead the 2 ball didn't go behind the 3, and the and the cue ball didn't go behind the 3, and the 2 ball leaked behind the 6, and he left Oscar with a straight in shot on that too. Oscar got a little bit straight in on the 3, wanted more of an angle in order to come back down to the 4. And the last thing he wanted was to run into that 9 ball. Nonetheless, cut it, go up the rail, 1 or 2 rails for that 5. He's looking at 2 rails spinning in between the 7 and the 6 ball. Inside the English, spin it off the rail, come up along. Nope, not enough of a spin, but still comes out fine. The speed of the table seems to be sort of affecting most of the players over this weekend. I think the table is dry, I think the table is fast, and everybody has shot 1 or 2 or 3 shots a little too long, including some of the top pros in this event. Oscar makes the 5, but comes off way short for that 6 ball. He needs to block it out of his mind, concentrate on the bank, and make it. And he makes that bank. Oscar's wiping his hands off table and cleaning his cue. It's also a great tactic to sort of leave your player remembering that wonderful bank you just made. Hey, think about this while I clean my cue. Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a match. 3-2, Rodney Morris. 3, Oscar Dominguez. 2, Rodney Morris breaks. Rodney breaks and makes 2 balls on the break and leaves the 1 ball of that bottom rail. Oscar is like, hey, I'll help you. I'll take that rack away for you. Those of you who know Oscar know him to be the ultimate gentleman at the table. I mean, Rodney has a reputation for being one of the nicest guys on any tour, and Oscar is just a gentleman. And with that, Rodney tried safety, tried to stop the cue ball, ran too hard and scratched. You noticed how hard he hit the table just now. Oscar says, thank you very much. Stop shot on the 1, stop shot on the 2. A little bit of inside English, follow shot on the 4, come up to make the 5. Since the 7 ball is past the pocket, Oscar has options. He can come across the table or try and spin it over. A little bit shorter than he wanted, but he'll take the angle because it'll give him an angle to come to that 8 ball. Stop anywhere in the center of the table, you're fine. Oscar needs to put all this aside, see the path the cue ball will take to get to that 8. Two rails, and Rodney says, "You can shoot that. I'm giving it to you." And Oscar makes it a quick 3-3. Rodney seems to be staring at the table, trying to make that ball that he missed, or that he scratched on, come out of the pocket by magic. 2017 J. Swanson Memorial 9-ball. For those of you who don't know Swanee, arguably one of the best players ever to come out of San Diego. This gentle giant of a player and very, very nice man. Score is 3-3. Oscar Dominguez at the table. Left side break. Trying to make the 3-ball and the bottom left hand pocket. Just missed it, but made another ball and is now Jedi mind tricking the 1 into position. The clicking sounds you're hearing is because part of what I do is I shoot billiard photos. In fact, a search for my name and billiards will bring up some of my photos from past events, including last year's Swanee event and others. Rodney tried to cut that 1 ball right in between the 4 and 7 and sort of played the two-way shot. Said, hey, if I miss it, I'll have the 8 to protect me. And Oscar goes for his jump cue. Oscar is one of the players that jumps with a full-size jump cue unless he needs a real fast takeoff. He jumps with a full-size jump cue. Taking a good look at where he wants to hit. Sidearm action. And got an unfortunate double kiss. Rodney is scratching his head as if to say, it's not what I want it to be. But he'd rather be at the table with a disadvantageous shot than not be at the table with Oscar shooting. Is he trying to cut it? No, he's trying to play safe behind the 4 and 7. By sticking the the 1 ball to the rail, Rodney tried to take away the jump from Oscar. Oscar's looking at the angle saying, hey, if I can bring it back here, I'll be pretty darn good. 2 rails. Hit the 1. That's where he wanted to stop the cue ball. Up table, using the 2 and the 8 to protect the 1 ball. Rodney's looking at kicking the 1 ball from behind. Rodney might not like the result of this. Oscar is looking either to make that 8 and open both the 1 and the 2 ball. But if he doesn't think he can do that, he'll stick the cue ball right behind that 8 ball. He's looking at the angle he needs to hit the 8 in, because then he runs into the 2 and opens that up. But for the 1-8 combo right now. The low speed in which he hit it also allowed him to control the 1 ball after the combo and the 2 ball. Oscar wanted a little bit more angle in order to get down to the 4 ball, but he'll hit off the rail, follow forward, and try and get there. If Oscar runs this rack, it'll be the first time today in this match that he gets the upper hand of Rodney Morris. And he's breaking in the 8th rack. 9 ball makes a score 4-3, Oscar Dominguez. There's a lot of fight in this young man. I was talking earlier to Desiree Dominguez, who was holding a packet of Preggy Pops, apparently meant to help with morning sickness. So, ladies, if you wanted more peppermint, spearmint, lavender, sour lemon, sour tangerine, and ginger in your system, Preggy Pops.
Don't judge me.
I am not judging you. The 2 ball passes the 5 ball into the side pocket. And Rodney's looking at the angle that he'll need from the 5 to the 6. He wants to make sure he leaves himself an angle to get from the 5 to the 6. Play a soft follow shot, just make the 5, float down to that 6. He's shaking his head because he's straighter than he wanted to be, which means now he has to spin the ball in, go 3 rails, hit that 7. Rodney has such finesse and such control over the cue ball that he makes shots that other people would take a long time on look just easy. It's just poke, poke, poke. But it's very deceiving. That ease in which he does it shows years and years and years of practice. 4-4. All of 30 seconds rack to Rodney Morris. Oscar breaks, makes a bowling break, but leaves the one ball right on the top rail with a two ball on the other side of the table. He's going to push and leave a shot to Rodney Morris. He also tried to tie the 2 and 4 ball so that even if Rodney gets that one ball, the 2 ball is unavailable to the top right pocket. I'm sure many of the players playing at home are wondering, would I play that shot? It's a fun game to play. Only leaves a shot for Oscar, but again, that maneuver just a second ago by Oscar Dominguez meant that that 2 is tied up with the 4 on the bottom rail. Seems like Oscar wants to try and get another safety out of this. How perfect did he shoot that? Rodney's looking to shoot 4 rails. Oh, just missed that one ball. Once again, even if and when Oscar gets the one ball, he still has to deal with that 2 and 4 on the bottom rail. I think Oscar is going to try and make that 4 ball after nudging the 2. What he wants to make sure is to leave himself a shot on the 2 up table after he makes that 4 ball. Unless the 2 actually passes that 4. It was hard to tell from this angle, and I do apologize. We simply couldn't see it from this angle that we have. Notice that Oscar put his finger where he wanted to stop. He shot a bit too long. Now he has to cause the cue ball to dance on its way back down to that 4 ball. Depending on the shot he takes, he may actually opt to come on the short side of that 4, but I simply don't see how. He's looking at the angle that he wants. Throw back, spin it. No, he didn't like that one. He changed his mind mid-shot. He's like, nah, don't like that. Now he's looking at the side pocket. Hit it into the side, cut it into the side, run around 4 rails to the 4 ball. Have to make it first. Have to make it first. Oscar is apologizing for leaving the cue ball where it is. Oscar will be the first to apologize when getting lucky. And Rodney is shaking his head a bit, sort of like, could have seen something easier, but I'll take it. And Rodney cuts it in. Gets an angle on that 4 ball. And now goes to take a look to see if that 5 ball passes the 7 or not. If not, he'll play to the top rail. Not what I wanted, says Rodney. Off camera, you can see Rodney talking to himself, mouthing something along the lines of, that's not what I wanted with that cue ball. But if he makes it into the side pocket, floats down, he's got both the 6 and 7. Just like that. Float down, 6 into the side. Don't need to do much on the 7 to get back down to the 9 ball. This was a little longer than he wanted. 3 rails, follow through. Nice smooth stroke. Guaranteed position. And Oscar will let him shoot it. 5-4, Rodney Morris. I'm reminded of an old story. Mike Siegel playing a kid. They lag. The kid loses the lag. Mike Siegel breaks, makes it 1-0. Kid makes it even 1-1. 2-1, 2-2. They go on like that. Mike Siegel breaks, wins 10-9. Kid comes up to him and says, "Hey Mike, you saw my game. Is there anything I can work on? You know, any tips for me?" And Mike goes, "Yeah, work on your lag." I can hear the virtual laughter out there. Rodney breaks and puts practically all the balls on the right-hand side of the table. He's looking at the angle that he wants from the 2 to the 4. He has to come underneath the 4 because that 9 is blocking the 4 ball. And because he was thinking so much about it, he missed. He's like, yeah, I came where I wanted, but I missed. This is a race to 7 on the loser's side. Each player has at least, oh, exactly, 1 loss. Oscar's going to try and cut it. If he misses, he's going to leave the cue ball behind this wall of balls. He may have actually shot it short to guarantee leaving it behind the wall of balls. And Rodney's looking at a 2 rail, maybe a 3 rail kick at the 2 ball. Doesn't like anything he sees, so he's going for his jump cue. last second, that 8 ball got in the way. Oscar wants to float down to the bottom rail with a lot of English after making this. Actually, he took a look at it and said, you know, it's too dangerous. I'll play safety, put the cue ball on one side, 2 ball on the other. Rodney says the up and down is where it's at. 2 rails, hit that 2. He hit the 2 full. He wanted to cut it a little bit more, which would actually make that 2 ball. Rodney is sitting back in his seat and seems a bit frustrated now. A couple of shots where he didn't get much of a chance to make something out of him. Oscar wants to again will the cue ball to stop right there. This is where I want it to be. He taps the rail right here. Not there, here. If you want to know Oscar's tell, just like in poker, if you want to know when he's thinking about his shot, if you ever watch him off table, you see him chalking his cue and he leans a little bit forward into the cue to try and figure out the shot that he has to make. Again, plays conservative, put some distance between the cue ball and the 6 ball with a 7 ball in between, and Rodney says, I've had enough of that, I'll just jump it. Rodney again looks sick. He's like, how can I not get lucky after a jump like that? That squeak that you can hear is Oscar wiping his cue down. I've heard the Japanese players do it quite often before, so wipe it down with so much force that the shaft squeaks. And since both Oscar and some of the Japanese players play with the Mesa shaft, this may just be a Japanese shaft thing. Oscar doesn't like it. He thinks if I draw back, the line leads directly into that 9 ball. Because originally he was trying to draw back off that 7. So he's going to change a little bit the angle by adding English to it. Take a longer shot. You can see some of the spectators in the background. Everyone's here at Anki and Mesa watching this match between 2 titans, Oscar Dominguez and Rodney Morris. Oscar evens the score at 5-5 and the break. Quick shout out to Gil Mando, Rhonda, Simon, and everybody else watching the stream right now. We have about 770 of you. Thank you very much. Thank you for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. Oscar Dominguez to break. The preferred left-hand side break. Hit the ball square. Make the 8 ball if possible. Oscar is again frustrated with where the 1 ball stopped. Why you gotta stop here? Why couldn't you kick 1 more time? We've all been there. Oscar's looking to push. Looking at all the places on the table he might want to push into. I think at this point he's trying to take not only a push but also to take the jump away from Rodney Morse. He's going to hit the 9, park it in front of that 4 ball. Rodney's going to look to hit 2 rails underneath the 1, leave the cue ball behind the 6. Oh, he could see it through that gap. Shot it a bit hard and left Oscar a shot down into the corner pocket at this point. Oscar wants to make sure he runs into the 3 or comes between the 3 and 6 after this shot. And he missed both. And he's shaking his head. See, now, if and when he makes that 3 ball, he has to make sure that he clears the 6. Clearing the 6 may still not give him a 4-9. So he's walking around the table to take a good hard look at the 4-9, shaking his head. Nah, I don't like it. But that may be the only option he has. He can make that 3 ball, but then what? Rodney can make that 3 and float back down, run into that 4 and 9. I think he shot too much and he's scratching. Once again, Rodney is sick with a disgust. Oscar's looking very hard at that 4-9. He wants to see if there's an angle where he can hit the 4 into the 9 to make it. What will happen if I hit it off the rail? And that's what he's going to try and do. He'll try and tuck the 3 between the 4 and the 9. Bring the cue ball behind the 6. There, he's pointing exactly where he wants the 3 to hit. So that if Rodney misses this, and the 5 is in the way of his jump, he'll have an easy 3-9 combo. No, he's shaking his head no and smiling. No. Just make that 3, stop complicating things. Make the 3, go for the 4-9 combo. Don't try and get fancy. If I do it here, maybe it goes, maybe it hits off the rail, hits off the 4, goes in. That's what he's looking at. Back to plan A. Hit the 3, hit the rail, hit the 4, hit the 9 in. 3, 4, rail, 9. and park the cue ball behind the 6. Unfortunately, he left the 3-9 such that if Rodney merely touches them, the 9 ball goes in. Rodney's looking at the middle line between them, parallel this line to the other rail. Don't add anything, come too long. And Rodney's like, I'm gonna try this again. You know what, you can have the whole rack. Here you go, buddy. And that puts Oscar in the lead, 6-5. Knowing Rodney, what he wants right now is a very fast rack. Break him, run him, let Oscar deal with it. Ugh. How did he hit that rack? Those balls exploded. Now the 2-4 up rail is the problem. It's the only problem he has. You can see Rodney's frustration. He tried to take the rack from underneath the 9 and he kept on moving it and spinning it, and in the end said, to hell with it. Picked up the 9, put it back down again. Oscar won't contest that. And in any case, it's Oscar's decision where he wants to leave it. And that right there is the price of frustration. Get frustrated, look at the next ball, miss the ball you're making. Even pros are not immune to that. Oscar took a good look to see that the 2 in fact passes that 4 into the pocket. Maybe he can make the 4. And he wants to leave that line. You see where he's pointing? That's the line he wants to come down to, right about where his tip is for the 3 ball. Oscar is looking very carefully to see if in fact that 2 can be spun off the corner of the pocket in. Notice him stop almost exactly where he pointed with his tip earlier. It comes down to the player's preferences. Hitting this with a bit more speed and pulling back, or going through rails around through traffic. Oscar's going to draw back. Coming dangerously close to that side pocket. He's looking to see if the 4 ball is frozen, and in fact tells Rodney, yes, it's frozen. This means that if he doesn't hit a rail with the cue ball or the 4 ball, it would be considered a foul. But it works it just fine. Just way long. He wanted to come underneath the 5 and hit it. Instead he missed it, came up the rail and left himself on the top rail. If you haven't heard me talk yesterday, there are only 2 rules to pool. 2 rules. Rule number 1, don't leave the cue ball on the rail. Rule number 2, don't leave the cue ball on the rail. Oscar's looking both at making this ball or possibly banking it into the rail and coming up table, back down to this side of the table with a cue ball. Just like that. Putting a lot of distance between the cue ball and the 5. Why take risks when you don't have to? Swanee's game at this point in time seems to sort of have fallen apart. He's always shot very fast, but he's shooting fast and not hitting his mark, allowing Oscar to make that 5.